Hello, tonight I'm going to talk with you about what research tells us about English language learners, language literacy and biliteracy development. And it's been super fascinating this week. We have learned so much. We have learned that they can often write before they can read. And I have seen this with my own students, that the vocabulary that they do have access to in their language, that they are able to produce in written form, but they may not recognize those spellings and those construct of language that surrounds the context of the vocabulary that they know in a written piece. So that makes a lot of sense, and that we should allow that because that further develops and strengthens all parts of their literacy. We also learned that the continuum of writing and literacy development is not linear, and that it can look quite a bit different from one student to another student. And then influences are both their teacher and their home environment. So how language and literacy is accessed and taught by their teacher. For example, if the teacher spends a lot of time on correctiveness and structure, or very little time on that, does influence what the students write and develop. And it also, same thing goes at home. So they used an example of Chinese American student whose parents spent a lot of time on the proper technique of writing symbols, characters, and letters in Chinese, as well as words in English, lettering in English. And so this one particular student wasn't very fluent on whole sentence construction, but their actual lettering and development in spacing and accuracy was actually quite advanced. So that just shows that what is the kind of literacy that is prompted at home has a tremendous influence, as well as his or her instructor, how they choose to teach literacy has a tremendous influence on the non-linear development of the students' biliteracy. And then we also learned that students need to speak both orally with other students while they're writing, during the writing and cooperative learning process, that this helps the students expand their development in biliteracy much more quickly and effectively than if we ask them to do this solo. And so they use the example of a lot of teachers love for the classroom to be a quiet place, but actually, especially in an ELL classroom, that the students need to be making meaning cross two languages, and in so doing, they need to be fluidly going in between both languages as they are learning. And I see that all the time. In fact, I work with adults, and I often tell them that I want to hear them explain it in their native language if they're lucky enough to have someone of their native language in the classroom at the time, which I work with a lot of Spanish speakers, so most do, but not all. I have a student from Kazakhstan, and he has nobody that he can speak to in his native language. But anyway, when they do, I ask them to pair up, and when they're learning a new lesson for writing or any kind of literacy in English, that they practice it in their native language as well as in English, and they make cross-meaning examples, and then we bring them back to the whole class and we explain how that works as a whole class. So the student from Kazakhstan doesn't have the privilege of getting to speak with another student, but he can teach us how that language role works in two of the languages that he speaks. I don't know what the native language of Kazakhstan is, but I know that they also speak Russian. So he explains how, well, in Russian we do it this way, but then he has another term for his native language, and so he goes back and forth. That they can access critical thinking skills assessing writing very early in their language development. So I just thought that was fantastic too, and I'm really excited to apply that into my classroom and see how they can utilize that as well. All right, well, thank you.